Hello everyone. This is actually take 2 on the webinar Blogging 101. I do apologize. The first webinar, the video and the audio didn't mesh very well, so it was very confusing to watch. So hopefully this one is a lot better for you. But I would like to start out by introducing myself to you and tell you a little bit about my blogging background. My name is Katie, of course, and I have been blogging for about 5 years. I started blogging when my family was small and used it as a way to keep my family updated about my own growing family. And I quickly fell in love with blogging and all of the possibilities with it. So about 2 years ago, I started my craft blog, The Crafty Blog Stalker. And ever since then, I have immersed myself with the online world because I just have a passion for it and want to know everything about it that I possibly can. I have been able to attend several blogging conferences, and I am also a member of a local bloggers council where we frequently get together and talk blogging strategies and networking. Now, I know this webinar isn't going to answer all of your questions, but I approached it as a basics to blogging. So if you do have any more questions, please feel free to take them to the BDP Stampin Connection group, and I will try to answer them there, or possibly do another webinar and we can go into greater detail. So let's get started. So what is a blog? And I went to Blogger, which is hosted by Google, to find the answer. A blog is a personal diary, a daily pulpit, a collaborative space, a political soapbox, a breaking news outlet, a collection of links, your own private thoughts, and memos to the world. So your blog is really whatever you want it to be. There are millions of them in all shapes and sizes, and there are no real rules. In simple terms, a blog is a website where you write on an ongoing basis, and each separate entry is called a post. New posts show up at the top, and your readers can comment on them, link to them, share them, or not. Blogs have reshaped the web, impacted politics, shaken up journalism, and enabled millions of people to have a voice and connect with others. And we're pretty sure the whole deal is just getting started. So according to domaintools.com, about 94,000 blogs are created daily. 94,000. That is just crazy numbers to me. So why do so many people choose to communicate through blogging? There are actual several reasons why. A blog is an easy way to update and add content frequently. And while blogging is a form of social media, it also invites the use of other social media types to work together, and they can promote each other. And you don't need to be a web designer or have web designing skills to create a cool, professional looking blog that readers will enjoy coming to and interacting with you. Now, what I do want to point out is a blog is not a magic pill. I hear frequently, my sales are down, I need a blog. And a blog takes a lot of work and is a huge commitment. You can reach thousands and ultimately millions of people through blogging, but your readers will be able to tell if you are doing it for the fame and fortune or because you truly love sharing. There is no magic formula that will make your blog successful and profitable. Different things work well for different people because we all run our business in different ways. So one rule of thumb is you have to consistently post on your blog for about 1 year before you will really see your traffic grow and see a larger reach. And that year can be shorter or longer depending on how much time you devote, the different social medias that you use, and many other factors. Now, I don't want to spoil anyone's dreams of a large successful blog because it definitely can happen, but you need to put the time into it. So if 94,000, again, that huge number, if 94,000 blogs are created daily, how do you make yours stand out among all of the others? Well, today we are going to focus on 4 main topics of blogging: branding, And what is a brand and how do you personalize yours? Community, how do you create an interactive community where your customers look to you as the expert? Driving traffic, how to get people to your blog and how to track them. And time management, how do you manage your blog in an effective manner while not consuming your life? And that's the big one. So with so many blogs out there, you really need to find your niche or specialty and focus on that. Make a list of your strengths, and if you don't know what they are, don't be afraid to ask a good friend who will be honest and upfront with you. It is very difficult to blog continually for many years. You have to love what you are writing about, or it's not going to last. Okay, so let's start with the first subject, which is branding. So what is a brand? It is what others think of you when they hear your blog name or they read the first line. It's ultimately your blog's identity. So let's take a look at a couple different brands. So this is the first one, and I want you to answer to yourself who you think it is. It's clean, streamlined, and red. Red is the biggest thing that jumps out to me. So if you guessed Target, you are completely correct. And I didn't even have to show you the Target symbol, and I bet you still got it because of their branding. Now let's take a look at the next picture. And again, it's very clean, the gray, but it's the symbol on the storefront that jumps out at me. And right away, I know that this is an Apple store. So just like with these two brands, you want your brand to be recognizable and consistent. So your customers know that it's you before you can even say that it's you. So just like you and your demonstratorship, your blog should have a My Why statement as well. And when writing your blog's My Why statement, I want you to think of why you like to visit other blogs. What kind of content do you like to read? And why should people come to your blog? Once you've decided on your blog's My Why statement, be consistent with it. If the subject matter you are writing about doesn't coincide with the statement, don't post it. You will only confuse your readers. Pictures are key. And I love to say that the picture will bring the reader to your blog and the content will keep them there. Cluttered and unclear pictures can actually have the reverse effect and drive your traffic away. We all like to look at pretty things. And you have to wow people before they will get to know you. And good photography is the easiest way to do that. And let your readers know you. You can set your limits on your privacy, but you want them to feel like they are your friend, even though they have never met you. We are the first generation that our grandkids will be able to look us up online, so it is important to be you and genuine to yourself. Now, did you know it takes a reader 7 seconds to decide if they are going to stay on your blog or move on? So while 7 seconds doesn't really sound like a lot of time, it actually is a very large amount of time visually. So we are going to go to my blog, The Crafty Blog Stalker, and I am going to give you 7 seconds to make up your mind. So let's go here, and I'll give you 7 seconds. Now that seemed like a pretty long time, huh? But it actually was only 7 seconds. And I bet many of you have already decided if you like my blog or not. And if you don't, that is okay. Your style of blog won't fit everyone either. The most important thing is that you like it. So let's take a closer look at that first impression and what your reader will see in those first 7 seconds. Now, a common blogging term is above the fold, meaning what you see without having to scroll down. So what you see right now on my blog is everything above the fold. As soon as we scroll down, that is considered below the fold. And you want to have content above the fold that will not only hold your reader's attention, but make them want to go in for a closer look. Deciding what to include in the screen space above the fold is not an easy decision. This is prime real estate. So here is a list in no particular order of some blog elements that you may want to consider placing above the fold. Of course, you will not be able to include them all, so you'll need to prioritize based on your own needs. Now, a blog title, header, graphic, or image is this right here. This is generally where your brand starts and is very recognizable. And you want your header to catch the eye, but you don't want it so large that your header is the only thing visible above the fold. So you basically don't want them to have to scroll down to be able to see any content. Now, another thing you want above the fold is primary navigation. And this is my primary navigation right here. This will take you to the different pages inside my blog. Navigation to these pages will be easy for visitors if the links are placed prominently above the fold. So as you can see, I've actually placed mine in my header image, so they are above the fold. Now, RSS and email subscription options. This orange button right here is the RSS, and that's how you can follow my RSS feed. For my email, it is actually below the fold, but it's just barely below the fold, and so I am okay with that. But that is how you sign up to follow me by email. But giving you subscription options, giving you subscription options a prominent place in the design will always help to make it more visible and easy to find. Plus, it will remind visitors when they arrive that subscribing is an option, because you do want them to subscribe. Now, social media buttons. These are my social media buttons: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. And this lets readers know your preferred social media types. It is a reminder that they can follow you using any of these methods. You should have a couple different options because people will follow you in many different ways. Now, subscriber count. Many blogs display subscriber counts right by subscription links. I do not do this, but many do. If you have a large group of subscribers, this can be effective to immediately show new visitors that you have some credibility. Now, my subscribers are about halfway down my page. We'll come down here. This is my subscribers. This is how many subscribers I have. And then blog post title and the start of post content. It is a good idea to let visitors start reading above the fold. Again, you want to catch their attention right away. I include header images in all my posts that have the title of the post right in it, and so that is how I grab attention, because again, back to photography, I think photography is huge. And then the last one is category links, and displaying links to category pages provides the same benefit as showing recent entries. Plus, it can quickly give new visitors a good idea of what topics you cover on the blog. And mine are not above the fold. Mine are again about halfway. And these are my category links. So these are all the things that I post under. Now, I'm going to repeat it because it is so important that when creating your blog, you need to make sure that it fits your style and personality. You want to make it you. Okay, so let's go and talk about the next subject, and that is driving traffic. There are many different ways to drive traffic to your blog, and social media is a huge key. So let's define social media and break it down. Media is a form of communication, like a newspaper or a radio. And social is basically a type of interaction. So social media is basically a website that doesn't just give you information, but interacts with you while giving you that information. And this interaction can be as simple as asking for your comments or opinions. And also remember that social media is a two-way street, and that gives you the ability to communicate and talk about the content given. Now, there are many types of social media, so let's go over those just really quickly. Your blog is actually a type of social media, and then there's Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Google+, LinkedIn, and many, many more. I don't want you to feel like you need to do all of these social medias. Pick a couple and do them well. Use the social media tools together and they will help complement your blog. If they compete, it may confuse your readers that follow you through the different social medias. And don't be afraid to poll your readers as to their preferred social media. You want to be where your readers are. And SurveyMonkey.com is a great tool for this. It is free with 10 or less questions, and you can send the survey by email or have the survey posted directly to your blog. Now, tracking page views. Now that you understand social media a little bit better, you need a way to track it to be able to know what social media tools are working best for you. Many blogging home sites have some type of analytics that allow you to track your page views, but many of them are also very inaccurate. I know the analytics in Blogger are inaccurate, and I actually prefer to use Google Analytics, and I know that is a main one that many big sources and companies use as well, is Google Analytics. And there's a ton of information that Google Analytics can pull for you, so there is a learning curve if you want to go digging deep into your reports, but there are also some simple to read reports that are automatically populated for you. So some of the first things that you'll want to start tracking with your blog is page views. Tracking page views helps you track where your readers are going and what they are clicking on. It is also one of the best ways to gauge the popularity of a particular post. Bounce rate. Your bounce rate is the percentage of single page visits or number of visitors that left after only visiting your entrance page. A high bounce rate generally indicates that your entrance page isn't relevant to your readers, and Google does take into account your bounce rate when ranking your site in searches. Percentage of new versus returning visitors. You want to have a mixture of returning and new visitors. Too many new can mean that your content isn't inviting your readers to return, and too many returning means you aren't getting any new, which means your blog isn't growing. And social tracking. By tracking this, you will know what social media tools your readers are finding you through and if your social media efforts are successful. Okay, and you want to make your blog a community. Your blog community is the group of people who share a common interest and feel a sense of belonging regarding your blog. Developing your community also contributes to your brand in the sense that it is how people see you. And the more people there are online talking positively about your blog, the better. So here are a couple ideas on how you can keep your readers interacting with you and your blog to create your community. You can contribute to others' blog communities by commenting and posting on other blogs, and this shows that you are willing to share with others, so they will be more willing to share with you. You can reply on your readers' comments, and please make sure that you always answer their questions. And if someone does ask you a question, turn it into a post because probably more than one person has that same question. The card you made is beautiful. How did you make it look like those balloons are floating? Great idea for a post about Stampin' Dimensionals. Do a giveaway for the top commenter of the month and give away something simple like 3 handmade cards or something small and inexpensive like basic pearls. This will encourage your readers to participate in discussions. You can also challenge your readers. Post a generic layout and ask your readers to make a card using the same layout or using a specific technique or stamp set. Make them feel included and that they have great ideas too. And hold discussion groups or chats. And you can do this through Skype, Instant Messenger, and even Google Chat. Now, this is the big one for me, managing your blog. Along with your blog's My Why statement, you should define in your terms what a successful blog means to you and how you can track it. Success is different for everybody. Define what your idea of a successful blog is and write it down. Is it your page views? Is it your income, community, sharing? Whatever it is, you define that and write it down. And you want to make sure that you have a SMART goal when it comes to your blog. Now SMART, let's break that down. SMART means it is specific, it is measurable, it is actionable, realistic, and time-phased. And if you don't know what you want, you won't know when you'll get it. So that is why it is so important to have a goal. Track your progress regularly so you can adjust your actions as needed. In managing your blog, you also need to manage your time. A blog will suck the life out of you if you let it. Now, you don't have to post every single day. This is another common myth. But what you do need to do is find a schedule that is right for you and be consistent with it. Now, some time-saving ideas to help you with your blog is that it's okay to say no. Don't take on too many commitments. Keep an up-to-date calendar. This is very important on staying on top of your tasks. Have a notebook of ideas always handy. So even if you're sitting at the movies and you get a quick idea, you can pull it out and write it down real quick. Work in advance. A good rule of thumb is to be at least 2 posts ahead. You never know when life is going to get in the way of your blog. And that is one that I try hard to do, but it is hard to do. And so I am not always as on top of that as I would like. And the last is be patient with yourself. Oh, that's not the last. You want to be patient with yourself. But the most important one and the most difficult one is don't compare yourself or compare your blog to others. Everyone has different time commitments, different life happenings that affect how they can contribute to their blog. And if you are trying to hold yourself up to someone else's standards, blogging will no longer be fun for you, but a chore. And again, the most important thing to remember when you are blogging is to just be you. Everyone else is already taken. Now with blogging, there's also a little bit of blogger etiquette to consider. Now these rules aren't necessarily written in stone, but they are good little tidbits to keep in mind and to play nice. It's okay to go on vacation and not post for a week at a time, but let your readers know beforehand so they don't think that you have just dropped off the face of the earth. And don't remake a tutorial if you are referencing a project from another blog and they have already made a tutorial. It's one thing if you're changing it up a bit, then by all means go ahead and remake that tutorial. But if you're doing the same exact and giving credit to the other blog, don't redo that tutorial. And back to that, always give credit where credit is due. Bloggers love to share their ideas, but it can be really upsetting when you stumble upon a blog where someone has obviously copied your exact project and that person took all of the credit. Blogging is about sharing, and it is okay to share the spotlight. And when you leave a comment on other blogs, don't include your blog URL unless you are referencing something specific to that post. Otherwise, it is considered spamming. Now, don't forget, Everything that you write is on display for the world to see. If you don't want the world knowing something, don't post it. It goes back to our grandchildren being able to learn everything about us just by looking us up online. What do you want them to learn about you? Now, I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and I hope that it maybe answered some questions for you, or even better, sparked new questions. These are some reference sites that I used while planning this webinar, and I want you to notice the bottom one, Google. Google is my best friend when it comes to blogging. If I ever have a question about how anything works, or how to install a new button, or anything like that, just look it up in Google and you will find an answer, and you will probably find 500 answers. So Google is a great tool. So I hope you enjoyed it, and go make your blog amazing.